here's how to factor. Okay, so can't open this marker. Okay, so first we're gonna start off with terms that have 1 as the coefficient for x squared. So you're first going to find greatest common factor. There we go. Greatest common factor. But there's nothing in common here because this is an x, and here's a 4, and here's a 4x, and here's a 4. So these have a 4 in common, and these have an x in common, but they don't have something all in common with each other. So we are going to split the middle. Then actually, when you split the middle with something that has a coefficient of 1, then the numbers you get are what this factors into. And so we need to find something that multiplies to positive 4 but adds to negative 4. And so we'll have x minus 2, x minus 2. And so if you were to multiply this out, like here and then here, you get x squared minus 2x, and then here and here, and you get minus 2x plus 4. Combine these terms because they're similar, and you should get what you had in the original equation. If you didn't, then you didn't factor this right. But yeah, that's what you do if the coefficient is 1. So here's another one with different numbers, because yeah, this is great. English is my passion. Same kind of deal. We find something that multiplies to 8 and adds to negative 6. You might have learned something like called x factoring, which you put the multiplication up here and the addition down here, and you find something that multiplies to this number and adds to this number. And so what would help is listing out the factors of 8. And so you have 1 and 8, 2 and 4, 3, not 3, and then 4 and 2, and 8 and 1. So these are the factors of positive 8, but we need to get a negative number. So both of these might have to be negative because, you know, when you multiply negative numbers, 2 of them, they equal a positive number. And so 2 and 4 add to 6, but we need to be a negative 6, so we're going to make both of them negative. So it's a negative 2 and a negative 4. And that's what this ends up factoring out to. It's x minus 2 and then x minus 4. So this is just a different way that it might have been explained. That's how I learned it, but I found it to be dumb, so I don't do it anymore. Because I'm just a god, I guess. My videos are going to get taken down immediately for using the Lord's name in vain. Oh, new problem dropped. So this is an example where the coefficient is not 1. It's a 2. Trust me, I promise that is a 2. And so same deal. We're gonna find something that adds to this number, but instead of just multiplying to this number, you have to multiply these together, and it has to multiply to that. So this would be 70. So you have to find something that multiplies to 70 but adds to 17. And so then once we find out those numbers, that would be 10 and 7, we're going to split this equation up. So we're going to write the 2x squared plus, I'm going to write the 2x squared plus, you can pick 10 or 7, I'm picking 10, plus 10x, and then over here 7x plus 35. And you'll factor these terms individually. And so you find like what is in common between these two, which is 2x, and then what's remaining, so 2x, there's an x left here because you need it squared, plus 5. And then over here, there's a 7 in common, and then x plus 5. These terms in the parentheses need to be the same, because if they're not, then the Lord won't love you, I guess. So you have to make sure. Stop! You are going to Brazil, and so it has to be the same, right? So then you take this thing that's in the parentheses, move it down, and then the terms that are outside of the parentheses, and put those in parentheses as well. So that's how you factor this out when it's not the coefficient of 1. You just split up this middle term to find something that multiplies to both of these, and then, or multiplies to these after you, something that multiplies to the product of these two, and something that adds up to this, and then you get two sets of binomials, and you factor those individually, make sure the parentheses have the same terms. Binomial, that's the word. And then bring that down, and then take the stuff that's on the outside of them and put them in the next thing. So that's how you factor that. So here's another problem. So we have 3x squared plus 3. So you can see that they have a 3x in common. So you take that out. Then what you put in parentheses, what's left, you have an x. And then because you need to have a term here, because if you just left it as this, you're only going to get 3x squared, not the plus 3x. So you're going to add plus 1. And that's how you factor that out. So not everything has to have two sets of parentheses. Just when you factor, you're just simplifying it. And to double check your work, you should be able to multiply the outside term to the stuff on the inside. And it should get you back to your original equation.